Space Nerds, we got a new ship on the way. It has landed in Alpha 4.9. It's another ship from the company that makes the Shiv. That's Grey's Market. And it's meant to look a little bit swashbuckled, a little thrown together. I think they went completely the other end, and it looks like it's a Reaver ship. So we're going to take a look at it for the first time. I'm going to get in game and play it a little bit later. I'll have something up about that. But for now, let's just see what the heck this newest addition to Star Citizen is.
When we introduced the Grey's Market Shiv last year, it was an interesting time to be able to bring that sort of junker aesthetic into the Star Citizen universe.
It really embodied a style of art called kit bashing and brought it to you guys, the players.
You can approach it in different ways than other manufacturers, so you don't need to adhere to all the typical rules.
I like that we get this opportunity to make these ships that aren't pristine and neat and tidy.
It seems like too good an opportunity to create a unique manufacturer in the game. I mean, that's what they're saying they did, but like a physical place in the game that it feels different to get ships like this than the others. I just don't feel like there's enough of a difference if you're doing the like kit bashing junk ships, but they still have similar specs to other ships. I think these could be extremes in some way.
And we're proud to introduce the new addition from Grey's Market, the Basher.
Like the hull damage should be minuscule, right? It should just fall apart.
Basher is a light fighter, and it prioritizes guns over literally absolutely everything else.
Jesus, it's got a lot of guns. What is that? Freaking 5 guns on a wing? Yeah, jeez.
They're far more maneuverable than the higher fighters in the class.
It's meant for quite close dogfight, especially in close combat ranges.
And this one's particularly well gunned as well, so it's going to give you a lot of firepower.
I think the funniest thing is this fin on the top that they have almost feels like just extra target to shoot at. Like the ship is so small, they're just little bits to hit. Cause what's the point of this? Looks like a Reaver ship. Like it looks like it's even got some kind of freaking spikes on the front. That you want to see some melee damage between ships. I don't know, but like there's a reason those exist on Reaver ships.
This one's particularly well gunned as well, so it's going to give you a lot of firepower.
It's got its 6 size 2 weapons and its 2 missile launchers.
And whilst they are new weapons, they are not bespoke or unique to the ship. You can swap them with other weapons of the same size.
Yeah, you gotta reassure players of that nowadays.
On paper, something like this is a challenge to balance. On the first read, you go six guns, that's a lot. They are size 2.
6
so
guns. Oh, I guess the 2 barrels is just 1 gun, so
the most powerful guns that
3 guns on the wing.
They are perfectly capable of taking on other fighters and dealing damage. But the big consideration with this ship is the size of it. It is significantly smaller than any of the
Bro, what? 85X is quivering. That thing is tiny. That's got to be one of the smallest ships with a quantum drive at this point.
light fighters in the game.
It's like Pisces size.
Between being a very small compact
Look at that, smaller than the freaking Wolf, man. That's actually really interesting. This is going to be a fun ship to dogfight with because it's just going to skate all over the place. And it's going to be hard to hit, besides the little, the crane up top. Watch out for that.
Which is very hard to hit, but also it's quite very low durability compared to all other ships in the class.
Oh, it's terrible cockpit view.
You need to be very durability.
They just put random crap out here to block your vision. Thanks, Greys. And the same up here. Like, there's definitely some level of balance going on with that stuff. I love that this is sideways. That's great. Makes it even easier for me to forget my key bindings.
Compared to all other ships in the class, you need to be very aware of your piloting skill, and you need to be very conscious about all the threats surrounding you, because as soon as you get hit, you're gonna feel it.
Ouch, bro.
The overall aesthetic, as with all
So
our
it's
Grey's
weak.
ships, it's got this really interesting cobbled together aesthetic to it that makes it very different from the rest of our ships.
So the first thing you're really going to notice on the exterior of the Basher is just how big the engines are in comparison to the kind of like the rest of the body. We wanted the cockpit and the engines to be sat quite far back, and we kind of wanted this almost sort of like hot roddy kind of feel to the vehicle.
You'll see a lot of parts taken or inspired by other ships in the game, and you'll see a lot of Drake parts, Buccaneer parts. There's a bit of the Gladius in there, there's a bit of the Aurora in there.
Freaking Gladius wings. Wait a second. So you got the Buccaneer thrusters, you got the Gladius wings.
The Gladius in there, there's a bit of the Aurora
The back of the Aurora. No, they put the front of the Aurora on the... They put the back of the Aurora on the front of the ship.
Aurora in there.
That's actually kind of funny. That's actually really funny. Get hit with the butt. See, now it has to be a ramming ship, dude. Who doesn't want to kill someone by slapping him with an ass?
There's a bit of the Avenger in there too, isn't there?
Yeah, there's all sorts in there.
Oh, nice.
And a few other little surprise pieces.
Or at least let us fire them off. This feels like it should be a different kind of like, you should be able to craft this by finding a whole bunch of like waste and debris out in space. And then throwing it together with a few electronics and some explosives.
So when you're working on a ship like this that's got so many different things bodged together, the biggest challenge is what we would call resolving forms. Everything is a sharp edge and everything is like an afterthought.
You walk around and it's a bunch of stacked bits of metal, barely put together. The weapon rack is just a broken fence. Then the personal storage is like a filing cabinet welded into the ship.
That's actually hilarious. It's great. Like, it's a really cool thing that they do with it. I just wish that there was a little bit more in the game to be convincing about where these ships were coming from and why they exist. But, like, how important is that really in the alpha? Maybe that's something they will do later.
And over everywhere, you're going to see cables, you're going to see bits of metal bolted on, rust, all that character that we talked about with what makes this manufacturer so special from an artistic standpoint.
Artistically?
The enter and exit animations are sort of a byproduct of how we build our ships. For a lot of ships, we use templated animations, so a lot of the touch points that you use and the position your character moves is shared between a lot of ships. Occasionally we do new animations, such as on the Wharf. But for this one, we used the Merlin enter-exit. And we couldn't quite get the character to climb and maneuver over the ship, so we thought, what's a great way that we can integrate this?
This was solved by just cutting a hole in the wing. Maybe it's from a past explosion or...
I love how they just showed. How do we make this ship work? Let's just blow that part out of it.
This was solved by just cutting a hole in the wing. Maybe it's from a past explosion or fight. Maybe it's from a ship that they already took and was already damaged. We used like different bits of rebar instead of ladders. It's just a fun take on something we've done before.
I think the cockpit is probably one of my favourite parts of Basher.
The view is unlike anything else we have in the game.
Someone's kind of built this just out of parts. It's not built to be safe.
I like to think of it as like a rally car in a sense. Like it has this kind of mesh wire that's got holes cut in it, almost like they couldn't find a complete bit of mesh that was going to fit the window.
You're going to catch so much, just I can just see like skin catching on these freaking wires, dude. This is like the tetanus wolf. It is. I would never want to be near this. I wouldn't want to be getting thrown around the cockpit in this. That's for sure. 15 G's.
The dashboard on the Basher is very similar to old Drake ships. Everything lights up in different states. So when you turn the ship on, it doesn't just turn on like another ship. There's definitely wiring problems.
It doesn't feel like somewhere you would want to be in a crisis, but you know, you're the person driving into the crisis.
The other big defining part of the...
If it genuinely has a longer startup, that's real balance, you know? That's something to consider when you're getting the ship. I'm in a lot of scary situations. I don't need a ship that's going to take a minute to start up, but I bet you still get access to the ship systems as soon as you hit the button.
Kind of experience and cockpit view is obviously the crane.
Why is there a crane?
It's so interesting and so different that it's a...
Imagine doing the bare minimum to make a ship all this stuff, like you're trying to find resources, you're hobbling things together. There's a freaking filing cabinet thing, whatever, for your inventory or what have you. And then you put a crane up here that requires power and moves out of the way every time you get into the cockpit. Come on now.
The cockpit kind of experience and cockpit view is
it's just an engineer showing off.
It makes this so interesting and so different that it's a real unique piece to the ship.
This lines up perfectly with the reticle, so it helps with aiming.
And then obviously, if you find you're kind of in combat and that's coming slightly distracting, you can jump into the front camera and get like a real good zoomed-in view as well.
Okay,
So
or I'm
on
just
launch,
going to shoot the crane off my
doesn't come with
ship.
any kind of cosmetic kits other than the crane, which comes as standard, which you're able to kind of remove if you so wish.
Good job, guys. Well done.
But we do hope to explore more cosmetic kits. It gives more options to our players for visual upgrades. I think it's a really kind of nice and exciting thing to be able to do. The paints for the Basher are kind of what you would expect if you're familiar with the ship's paints.
There's some of the things like the default paints as well as the floral pattern and skull.
What we wanted to try and do with the Grey's Market vehicles is give them
It's
quite
so
a strong
small,
brand
dude.
identity.
Look at how freaking tiny the thing is. There's so much range for ship variation in this game. We get so hooked on these like 70, 100 meter plus ships, but there's so much range for unique ship types, anywhere from like 8 to 30 meters. I hope they keep diving in on it, because clearly most of the way this game is getting played is solo or in small groups. I'm not saying we shouldn't have ships and stuff that's made for groups, even small groups, but I think there's a lot of potential for just unique small ships doing different things very differently. It makes people angry because then it's like, why did you release this? But, more downsides means more options.
See, on top of a visual style we've already established.
Very happy with this ship. It's been great to see it come to fruition.
I love it. I think it's great. I think it's a really, I don't want to say cute, because it's definitely not a cute ship. Unique ship.
Cute in the same way a feral cat might be.
I think it adds a new dimension to the combat experience in game, and I think people will have a lot of fun flying this.
I'm still of the mindset that like these should have, there should be something about them that shows obviously they are not high. Like we can't be getting the same ship quality from freaking Greys as we do from Anvil. I understand they're smart people at Greys, they're doing some cool things, but whether it's like the availability of where to get it, the materials needed to craft it, the maintenance needed to keep it up to date, or even just like how NPCs react to the fact that you're flying it. I feel like there should be an actual difference for players when they play this game differently. That goes for a criminal, that goes for a super high class person, that goes for somebody who wears combat clothes instead of armor, that goes for somebody who flies a freaking Grey Shiv instead of an L-22 Wolf. Like, I love what they're doing with these ships, and I love how much variety we're getting in the game, but I don't think it should just be artistic variety. As always, caveat that we're still in alpha, so who knows how this stuff might change, and how they might have time to actually change it in the future.
Yeah, I know she said junker instead of jalopy.
I did say junker instead of jalopy intentionally.
No, I wouldn't call these jalopies. A jalopy to me is a very specific sort of beetle.
You can
I
stop
don't know.
talking.
I feel like jalopy has a negative kind of connotations with it, and I'm not sure I'm on board with that. I think it's more
Not junker, though.
a junker,
No.
I think, rather than a jalopy.
This is me banging my head on the microphone. I need you to say it's a jalopy.
No, I don't think it's a jalopy.
I can't help but just think of like pizza when I think of jalopy. If we ever make a round ship that like has like sections that can like separate off and fly away, then we can call it the jalopy. Okay.
To get everybody to say it's a jalopy, he could just tell them that they all have to go back and work on the merchantman if they don't. Ain't nobody wants to do that right now, man. An interesting look at the Basher. This is quite the ship, as they all are. They've gotten very good at making ships. I'm not ever surprised. I really love when they try to put like industrial gameplay in there. Just be like, it is still part of the game, remember? Oops. It's interesting the way that they're trying to do these ships and differentiate between these and other ships so much, but they still kind of land the same way. That being said, we're going to get in game and test it out. You should see a first impression, some kind of gameplay popping up soon. I'm going to see what this freaking ship compares against size-wise. I want to compare it to like a Pisces 100 series, maybe size-wise. And then I want to see how it fights. 6 freaking weapons sounds like a lot of fun. Obviously, with the update, we still have new hit marker updates in 4.9. The flyby sounds are back. Distribution center redrop. It looks like they have been redistributed across distribution centers across the planets and moons, refreshed with a host of systemic and physics improvements. A multitude of carrier hauling and eliminate and recovery contracts await. We'll have to try this out. So it's a relatively small update. We got a new ship with it. I'm going to go check that out for you. A little bit of news for you. Thanks for checking this out.